2020, not exactly a time traveler's top pick. Yes, it was challenging. Yes, it was weird. And yes, it felt endless. But according to Time magazine, 2020 blew all other rotten years out of the park. For Time, it was the worst year ever.
There have been worse years in US history, and certainly worse years in world history, but most of us alive today have seen nothing like this one. If 2020 were a dystopian movie, you'd probably turn it off after 20 minutes.
It even got the Red Cross of Death on it, used only 4 times before in the publication's history. When Hitler died, when the Iraq War started, and when 2 al-Qaeda leaders were killed. Probably leaving 2020 asking how it found itself in such blood-stained company.
Trump lost an election and insisted he hadn't. More gaslighting, but at least we're having some success stopping up the valve that's emitting the fumes.
Well, at least they put a positive spin on that. Now, if you're American, you might think a contested election is the worst thing ever. But you might want to wind back to how people reacted when the star of The Apprentice won the White House.
Hillary Clinton has called Donald Trump to concede the race.
ABC News is
Trump. What did you just say to me in my ear?
Yes, ABC News is projecting.
Oh boy, he took Florida.
He won Florida, for example. He had such
I mean, this is truly the beginning of the end for Hillary Clinton's campaign.
This was a white lash against a changing country. It was a white lash against a black president.
If this morning you finally woke up from a coma, well, you might want to go back.
We reject the president-elect! We reject the president-elect!
So if a meltdown over an election is one reason 2020 made Time weep, I would say it's a tie with 2016. Although, of course, the magazine couldn't pass up the year's public enemy number 1, the coronavirus. There's no positive spin here. Pandemics take lives and change others forever. COVID-19 is no exception, but it's also not unique. The Spanish flu took 50 million lives. Tuberculosis killed 1.4 million last year alone. Humanity has weathered these kinds of storms before, and on much more lethal scales. But for Time, it wasn't just about the malicious mutating virus. Oh no.
Helplessness met its evil twin, a partner in crime that would only magnify its mad power, isolation. That began in March, the onset of a period in which most of us felt encased in our own lonely snow globes, looking out at a world that seemed to be falling apart.
Never mind the people fleeing their homes in war zones, or the soldiers dreaming of a night in their own beds. Those few months of snow globe, Netflix and chill were just the worst, weren't they? As were the homes in Malibu burning, against which the 2004 tsunami, the Haiti earthquake just pale in comparison, apparently. Because just like the humanitarian disaster in Yemen, starving children eating dirt in Madagascar, and the unraveling slave trade in Libya, this all happened very far away from Time's snow globe. And that's not gone unnoticed by some of those people trapped in their own lonely little bauble bubbles.
Worst cover ever?
Honestly, guys, I think you should open your history books. Way worse things happened in even recent history, without forgetting some countries where life is hell every day of their existence, and not just a couple of years.
It's funny how this generation thinks sitting at home watching Netflix is the worst year ever.
2020 is probably flipping through the history book, scanning world wars, civil wars, pogroms, the Black Death, the Holocaust, atomic bombs, famines, genocide, slavery, and perhaps feeling just a little hard done by.